Hey guys, so this next post is the second installment of our week number 12 assignment. We were responsible for finding relevant research that had to do with the presentation that we watched in class. So I just kind of looked up research that has to do with intellectual property as a set of business assets. And I came across this article that was published by the World Intellectual Property Organization. I included the link in my blog if you want to take a look. But essentially, if you look at things by themselves, business assets really have no significant value. This is a fundamental property of intangibles, such as intellectual property. They only become valuable in the context of the business. So if you want to look more specifically, IP and other intangible assets become valuable when their roles in supporting the corporate business strategy are made explicit. So when you're looking at how to manage your IP as a strategic business asset, you want to consider three main steps. The first is to define what your company expects to gain from the management of its intellectual property. The second is to determine specific roles intellectual property can play in support of your company's business. And then finally, you want to select and pursue a basic IP strategy to meet those objectives. So when you're defining expectations of IP management, you can look at exactly what you want. There's typically a hierarchy of 5 functions that a strategic business asset can serve. The first is defensibility. Essentially, you're using your IP intellectual property for litigation defense purposes in the case that somebody wants to accuse you of infringing on one of their products. The second is for cost control. This is still a defensive approach, but basically you want to reduce the costs of maintaining the IP. The third is profitability. This is when you actually start to reach a level where you're licensing your IP or using it to support your business activity to make money. The fourth level is integration, and this is where the IP is integrated across all levels of a business's activities in the company's business activity and in the industry, and it fits a wide range of business roles. And the final one is a visionary role, in which management takes a long-term view of the IP's role in the company's business activities, and in the industry as a whole. It's just going to be like a game changer in the industry. So when you're trying to determine what roles the IP can play, you first want to look at your company's strategic vision, and then you want to ask yourself what the IP might do to support the company. And you want to look at the table that I put in my blog post. You can look at it. I just took it directly from online, but it's very, very useful in helping to look at the objectives, the patents, the trademarks, the know-how, the relationships in terms of like the business role that an IP can play. So these roles can go from conflict avoidance to revenue generation to cost reduction to establishing a more strategic position. Then you talk about what types of patents that you would look for with that regard, and then you talk about how to do it, basically, exactly. So the table is very helpful. So when you look at how to extract value from your IP, the first thing you want to do is grow the IP and maximize the value, and then you want to literally turn that IP directly into cash. So there are multiple ways to maximize the value of an IP, and it's just really going to be dependent on the type of business you have. The first is to minimize risk, and this is focusing on process compliance and processing product clearness and protecting innovations in the marketplace. The second is to reduce costs, which we talked about before. You'll basically screen your patent portfolio to eliminate unnecessary patents and tighten the criteria for protecting innovations with patents. Then there's a way to maximize business and legal value. This is when you'll seek to profit from direct use of the patent itself, not strictly just from defensibility measures against litigation. And finally, you want to maximize strategic value, and this is where you focus on trying to change the nature or direction of the competition, and you rely on strategic patenting, refocusing research and development, rethinking partnerships with consumers and suppliers, and other relevant parties. So once you have grown the value of the IP, there are only 6 ways to convert directly into cash. You can either sell it, license it, use it as a basis for a joint venture, use it as a basis for a strategic alliance, use it to protect products and services in order to extract premium prices for them, or create and spin out a new company based on the patent. Thanks for listening today, and sorry this video was a little bit longer than normal, but I appreciate your patience, and I look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Leave any questions, comments, concerns that you might have.